So this week, we're gonna celebrate.
It's like every week.
Yeah, this week, we're gonna celebrate the 38.6 years that Denis served for Toromont there. So we'll go into a few stories about that, but before we start there, I want to say thank you to Leanna and Michaela for helping kind of put all this together.
Nice.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
I did not get the cake. I didn't get the bag that Stephanie's put on these things, right? So I appreciate the help there. So the thank you there. And then the other person I want to recognize, and I hope I don't miss anybody, but I'm gonna recognize Jaspel. Jaspel's last day is tomorrow.
Right on.
Also retiring.
You beat me to it. Way to go, buddy.
Awesome. And in the last event we had, Jaspel and I were talking, and we were connecting dots. Either I totally forgot those dots, or I was learning new stuff. But I sold engines to the G-Man car ferry that goes down to PD Island. And Jaspel worked on the G-Man car ferry the year prior with the Ruston engines, the RK270s, right, Jaspel? So, so we connected those dots, and I can't believe we did that now, because that was probably 20 years ago, right?
Exactly.
Okay, there you go. So anyway, so awesome, that was fun, and congratulations on your retirement. Okay, so I normally don't write the stuff down, but there's a lot of things to say about Denis, and I didn't want to miss one of them. So that's the key point. And then there'll be opportunities for others to get up here and also add some insights here. So first of all, I got thinking about, okay, well, how do we describe Denis? And so I said, you know what, I'm going to go back to the basics here, look at the PI, and then review the PI. I hadn't reviewed it in a long time. Well, Denis is the strategist. And I think there's a lot of head nodding going on here, so I think it fits. So 38 and a half years, more or less, started in the truck shop, started adding value to the company and our customers right from then. We've got some stories here. Jesper, you were saying Denis was training when you were in a truck shop before you came to Toromont?
When I worked for a truck dealer before I came to Toromont.
Yeah, awesome. And in the words of Denis, this is a quote, "Been a fantastic haul since '86." And so all the best and congratulations on that. But before I'm gonna hand the floor over in a second, but there's a few words that I wanted to, just describe your character, give people some insights here into who this guy Denis is. So, technology. I think he's a self-described technology geek, techno geek, I think is pretty close to it. So, Denis actually holds the record, and you'll never be able to check this record, but I think it's close. I think it's close, if it's not the record. Denis sent the first JPEG PIC file to Caterpillar. And that was before, so all those young people in the audience are wondering, whoa!
Was there such a time?
Yeah.
There was.
So Denis holds the record for that, and
That's true.
the icing on the cake of this whole statement is he still has that email.
I do.
Yeah, so he has the email, and then even more mind-blowing, he proceeded to get shit over sending that email.
Oh yeah, I got hauled into
By
the office
Caterpillar
by-
IT saying,
Yeah.
this will never be a thing, don't ever send a file like this ever.
I'm serious.
And
This
this is
was
all true.
IT Global. He said, I don't know what you just did, but this will never happen again, ever. Really? He may have been off a little bit.
So technology, Denis never afraid of technology, he's an early adopter. And then if I go to his personal life, early adopter, I'm thinking when you were driving, what year was your Pontiac Fiero?
That was
Picture-
the 86 and a half.
86 and a half, driving a Pontiac Fiero, it kind of fits the vibe, early adopter. And then he's still an early adopter to the day because he drives an EV now,
There you go.
right? So goes from the Fiero, a few cars in between, to an
It's
EV.
a starter EV, right? Not like Daryl's Arrow, he's not here yet, but I don't have my big boy pants on yet.
So technology geek, I think that's pretty fair. Technical, Denis technical. He knows his stuff. He knows reciprocating engines. He knows bearings. He knows tribology. He can speak more about lube and all the science behind it than many of us. So we look up to him for that. And all that expertise really helped us service and be successful in our maintenance and repair contracts that we have to this day. And the financials over the last decade plus, you know, kind of speak to how Denis challenged the status quo, challenged, you know, what people's views were on maintenance of those contracts, and that helped our customers out and helped our business out. So it was twofold, well balanced. So technical, Denis was king of the technical. Some other things that came to my head here, and I didn't know how to quite describe it. So a herd of sheep. Denis is not in that herd of sheep. So all the sheep are going this way. Denis is over here. Denis is over here. So, and where I'm going with that is when the majority of us view a situation through this lens and through this way, Denis all of a sudden come out 180 degrees and give you another viewpoint. And you think, what the heck? Where did that come from?
I don't know.
He doesn't know either.
It's
I don't
scary.
know.
It's very scary.
But whatever it was, that other viewpoint, it made you think. Like you didn't brush it off right away because you thought, maybe he's gonna have a point, the guy, right? So you always, the majority's going this way. You can guarantee that he's looking through it at a different lens, a different perspective that helps us perhaps arrive at some solutions to the problem. So always willing to challenge the status quo in anything. Never accepts the status quo. Never, ever, 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 right? Ever.
Absolutely. I agree.
So that's on that one. Denis loves a challenge. He's never afraid of a challenge. When he's in front of the impossible battle, surrounded by lawyers, surrounded by subject matter experts, then he doesn't even flinch. He's that casual. And you know, we're gonna be hit with $1 million lawsuit. That casual. And that's the way he works through the situation. So doesn't even flinch. Now that same loves a challenge is in his personal life too. I don't know if anybody knew, but he rode his motorbike with a few other people right across, bisected Africa, right across Africa. And then he proceeds to stop and takes a picture of a lion right there. And his assessment of that situation, I don't know if this was totally sound, his assessment of the situation, well, the lion was already full. So he's not coming after me.
That's what they say, and it worked out.
So, I don't know. I think there could be a safety thing there. Anyways, his assessment was the lion was full, and he took a picture of it. And then he proceeded down South America. So are you going to get all the continents in?
It's a big world. Southern Hemisphere, I've got just a few more to do, right?
Excellent. Okay, I did write down he's a mentor to many, and he's a friend to many here, and I think that's what made the blast. The last thing was a blast. Here was the people, the customers that he interacts with all the time. So most of our interactions, I think Denis tried to get away from me a couple of times, but he always kept coming back and reporting up through to me for whatever the reason. Anyways, so he tried to shake me.
Nobody else wanted it.
One or the other. So most of our interactions, personally, they would start with business usually, but then they'd usually end with global affairs, investments, families, morals, you name it, the list would go on. And then Denis had an interesting knack of injecting humor into everything. And even when, in my opinion, there should be no humor injected, he would inject it in. And so there was always the humor side of the whole thing, so that's great. Anyways, Denis, I'll hand it over to you. Happy to call you a peer and my friend, and I really want to wish you and Marilee, so this is another part of the story here. Marilee, his wife, is also retiring on Friday the 27th. So they are retiring together. So she's retiring from the teaching profession, and they will be retiring.
And then she's moving out.
Denis.
I'll stop at the retiring together, and she will be getting a copy of this video.
Yes.
Wasn't thinking there.
So all the best in your retirement, Denis, and we're here to celebrate it. We're going to have some cake here. We've got a presentation, but I could hold off on that, right, for this moment if you want to say a few words.
Yeah.